What's up, everybody? Trent Hidley here. I got another video for you guys today. This one's going to be, focused on the over/under position with the underhook. Kind of my go-to position. A lot of people will teach underhooks with head position. I've grown to enjoy the over/under position a little bit more. I think it allows me to get to different attacks. And I had a few questions on the last video discussing, how are you taking ground? How are you doing this to avoid the guy lateral dropping you, or how do you use their pressure to get to attack? So I put together this video a little bit ago. This is kind of me discussing how I'm getting into the over under and what I'm looking for. The big things for me is that my shoulder position is into their chest, and I want my hips lower than them. If at any point my hips are higher and my chest is high, I run the risk of, if I'm pressuring in too much, to get lateral drop or arm spin or arm throw or hit an arm throw. So for me, the shoulder position is key. My hips need to be low and driving with my feet. And then the thing that I like to do is, a lot of people, when you're in this over under, you'll try to attack that elbow on the overhook side. What I like to do is, instead of the elbow, it's really hard to get that off. I like to find that wrist and get my weight over on the arm. And I talk about this in this video. So this is going to be a little bit of me explaining it in this video, and then some examples of me taking ground in folk style and freestyle matches.
Alright, this first video is going to focus on taking ground from the over-under position. What I like to do from this position, instead of pushing on the elbow, I like to find the wrist, clear his wrist off my lat so I can take ground and freestyle, get him to the edge to score push-outs, make him make a mistake, and in folk style, take ground to get to my underhook finishes. My partner here, this position here, right, we're in it over-under, he has an underhook. This hand is limiting me from being able to attack either to his far knee or his near knee. So what I like to do is, like I said, instead of pushing here, I'm going to snake my hand back and find this wrist or his hand position, and I'm going to work on getting my chest and shifting over onto his bicep. Okay, so from here, instead of just pushing, I'm shifting my weight over onto the crease of his arm. Here, shifting my weight, this is making his arm heavy. I'm going to find this wrist, and I'm going to push it off from here. Okay, now I have a little bit more freedom to take ground. I can take him this way, right? And now I have his hand off my lat. I can use my pressure to build into a far knee, or I can also build this in to throw my hips out and go to a knee.
Okay, so, one thing I didn't talk about in this video, but that shoulder position, when I'm taking ground here, let me come here. Let's see, my shoulder's into his chest. It's going to allow me to drive and have power there. And when I'm getting weight on this arm, I need to get my chest over it, because if I'm chest to chest with him, it's going to be really difficult to push that hand off. Okay, so my weight is getting onto his arm, so I'm able to push that.
Okay, now I have a little bit more freedom to take ground. I can take him this way, right? And now I have his hand off my lat. I can use my pressure to build into a far knee, or I can also build this in to throw my hips out and go to a knee.
Okay, so here's going to be some examples. Some of these are folk style, some of them are freestyle. But really the principle is going to remain the same. I'm taking ground with my underhook, and it's really important that I control this wrist or the hand on the other side. Okay, that limits him from stopping my action with the underhook. So, every time I punch this hook, I'm always looking to control something on that other side with my overhook side. If I control his wrist, or I can push down at his elbow, I don't really feel threatened in a lateral drop, or them trying to hit a fireman's. It happens rarely when I wrestle, and I think the more that I control that other side, the better. Here's a pretty good example of controlling this wrist. I go for a few different attacks, but just being consistent with finding that wrist and working for, folk style takedowns, and freestyle working for push-outs. Same thing there. Control the wrist. Over under, find the wrist, create action from it. Over under, get that hand off of my lat so I can start to look for points and take ground. There I kind of try to whip over, come back up, and take ground again. So there it is, find that wrist, get that arm off my lat. Now I can attack to the far knee or look for singles. So here's freestyle a little bit, working for push outs, where I think this position is really important, especially if you're down late and you just need one. If I can get into the over-under, control that opposite side, it allows me to get into the edge and work for my scores a little bit easier there. Here I'm kind of up on the elbow. It allows me to kind of step in and use my underhook. This is back to folk style. Here I am again. You'll see this is the position I'm talking about. My shoulder's into his chest, my hips are low, I'm driving with my legs, and I'm controlling this wrist, so I don't really feel threatened with a shot or a throw. Kind of shift to an inside tie there, but same principle is the same. Control something on the other side. Folk style again. Control that wrist, opens up opportunities with an underhook. I think I got a stall call there. Kind of, and the beauty of this position is you can work both sides, right? So if I go for a single and he shuts it down, I can attack far side. If I attack far side and he hips down, I can try to attack that near side. But I just want to be consistent, and there he tried it's actually a good example. Here he tries a fireman's carry, and because I control that other side, it allows me to feel that with my chest and feel it with my hands, and drop my weight so my pressure forward doesn't get me in trouble. And taking that hand off allows my hand to be free, so I can attack to other sides. You'll like this. He doesn't like this no stall call. I didn't either. Oh, I guess I cut it early. So control that wrist, drive. And obviously with folk style, you don't get it rewarded as much with this. But in freestyle, if you can control the center and get guys to the edge, you start getting a lot of points racked up. But stalling is important too. Here I get a stall call. I kind of change the match a little bit. So there's a ton of different attacks that you can use from the over-under position. But I think the really important thing is controlling that opposite side, getting that wrist off my lat, so it allows me to use this to go near side or far side. If you're getting a feel where they're totally backing their hips up, that's why I like to put them underneath in the front head. But this was more focused on over-under. I have one more example that kind of ties in the last video I did. All right, so this last example here, and I like this because I kind of do a little bit of both. That last video I made was kind of coming out front and putting myself in over-under, and here I do that. And I had a comment on the last video about, stopping a lateral drop or understand the pressure, so this kind of covers both. At the start of this, I come out front, I put myself in over-under position, and then I start working on taking ground and finding this opposite wrist. Notice where my shoulder is, which allows me to drive, and I'm driving with small steps with my legs. I'm never getting too extended. There I try to whip over, get back to that wrist, put him in danger on the out-of-bounds line, and force him to make a mistake. So here he kind of tries to go for an arm throw. It's not a lateral drop, but principle is the same. If my hips are too high and my chest is high, it opens the opportunity for them to use my pressure to do a lateral drop or an arm spin or arm throw. But because my hips are low, this position, I'm waiting for someone to make a mistake, especially on the edge, especially in freestyle. Looking to rack up points there and get guys to the edge and make them make mistakes. So I think this is hopefully cover some bases, a little bit of the over-under position, taking ground, a little bit of that the pressure forward, pressure back situation, and being able to attack from different areas with the underhook. All right, thanks for watching. Appreciate it.